the air raid on Dresden was, we didn't expect it really, because the Germans had been thoroughly convinced that apart from the one or two small raids they'd had, which were negligible when it came to what really happened later on, they were convinced that Dresden would never be bombed, because they said that the British government had said that they would not bomb Dresden because the German Air Force would not bomb Oxford. Because the German people told us, that the people we worked with and from the working camp, that the old German people said that Oxford will not be bombed, so Dresden won't be bombed. Because when we conquer and occupy England, our Führer, Adolf Hitler, will set up his first headquarters in Oxford. That was what they believed. Well, we took it all with a pinch of salt, of course, but it began to ring true a bit, because we got right round to February 1945, near the end of the war, really. I mean, it was quite clear to everybody that Germany wasn't going to win. Really, the man in the street, they were on starvation, and there's so much happening on the Eastern Front. I mean, thousands of Germans have been killed, that they must have, they felt that the war was not going right. And so that was a sort of atmosphere that we've been conquered. We never do it. So we believed, but of course, suddenly one night, the RAF did visit us, and something like 800 bombers came at 10 o'clock at night. And we really knew that this was the night when Dresden was going to catch a bad raid, because the Mosquito Pathfinders came first, and they encircled the city with flares, and it was like daylight. You could read the paper in the streets. These flares were so brilliant. And then we could hear the drone of the bombers coming up in waves. And after, we thought there must have been around 1,000 bombers. I think there were over 800 anyway. And they were all Lancasters, that type of four-engine aircraft. And they dropped fire bombs, very few AG bombs, all fire bombs. The city was ablaze in no time. And of course we had that Luft air pressure thing. And it sucked all the oxygen out of the air, and so many people were killed. Their bodies were unmarked. They were killed because their chest caved in, because of that oxygen missing from there. But of course, on the ground, all the city was afire. Every building for miles around, they were burning. And then the next day, about midday, the hand-operated sirens goes. There was no electricity. The hand-operated sirens were going, and at midday, we saw dozens of Mustang American fighters, long-distance fighters, and they were overshadowing a fleet. Must have been 700 or 800 four-engine American bombers, flying fortresses, liberators, everything under the sun. And they dropped high explosive bombs in the fires. The target was there. They didn't have to look for it. And they just plastered the place. Absolutely blown to pieces. Terrible. But as prisoners, we said, well, thank heavens they found the place at last. It was a case of sort of giving quietly three-hearted cheers. Well, the boys have been, they've found us at last. No more work. There was nowhere to work. All the places we went to work had all been blown up. The railway. But you see, Dresden, I think it was realised amongst the Allies that Dresden was the gateway to the Russian front. At that time of war. At last, we got to it.